Hello, good evening, everybody. So today is April 27th, 2025, and I just want to quickly talk about the Canadian elections, which is happening tomorrow. Um, so to be very honest, I'm worried, sad, and also a little angry. I'll tell you why. So I was watching a street interview by some YouTubers, basically asking people, who they're gonna vote for the election day, and a young adult, I'll say probably between like 20 to 25 years old, he told the YouTuber that he did vote, but he didn't know who did he vote for. Basically, he would just pick a random name and put that name on the ballot and cast it. Seriously? Isn't that ridiculous? I mean, the whole election is for your future, especially for your generation. And I just cannot believe it. So I decided to make this short video. So just to list some of the very, very basic points for people to think about, especially for the young adult, or some people who haven't like quite make up their mind who they're gonna vote. So very good basic points for you to think about before you cast your vote. Yeah, okay. So everybody like the social programs. Nobody rejected. And we all like the good Medicares, and we like to welcome the refugees and the new immigrants from different countries, and we all want to be supportive to others. There's no doubt about that. But have you ever thought about where the money come from for those programs? I mean, those things cost money, right? And that will probably be the first thing you're going to think about. And for Canada, we're already in huge debt, and it will take many generations, including you and your children, decades to pay those debt if we keep spending the way we used to. You can just think Canada as a family. If for whatever reasons your family is in debt, can't even provide food, to everybody, do you go to your friends or even go to a bank to ask for more money, or even print some monies to keep the expensive way of living until one day nobody is willing to lend you any money? Or you cut your spending and tell your brothers and sisters, go out, to work. Don't sit in the home. Find a job and work harder and make sure your family is operational. Isn't that obvious? And that's the difference between the liberals' policy and conservatives' policy. And for those people who got laid off, or have some sickness, or maybe you're in the middle of a crisis, or maybe you're a government employee or a university staff, and you really worry about if the conservative was selected, you're gonna lose job, and they're gonna cut the fundings, and have a big impact on the education system and all that. I can totally understand you, and feel free to vote the way you feel is right. But I can tell you, in my personal opinion, with liberals' policy, by keep spending money, it's going to cause some bigger problem later on. It is simply just not sustainable, because the government money comes from our tax, right? The tax from the middle class and for the huge corporate, they pay taxes, and the government use the money, they manage the money and use it. That's how the government system works. But the middle class and the corporate is not going to continuously let the government to abuse their money. They the government just simply charge too much tax, and then they're using the monies without a good reason. They just use it. We don't know where all the money goes. So in my opinion, the middle class and those big companies, eventually they will say that's enough. We're going to leave Canada, and then what? That will hurt Canadians' workforce big time. And then nobody paid the tax. The government's money is gonna dry out. And after that, there will be no money for Canadians, no money, no benefit for Canadians, no Medicares for Canadians. And then you will probably gonna lose your job eventually anyways. So what's the difference? I mean, if you're 60 or 70 years old, you may well survive for your lifetime. But what about your children and children's children? Do you care at all? Think about it. A lot of people being interviewed say, okay, the focus right now for the Canadians should be, who can stand up and fight Trump, as he is the major threat for Canada. And they don't believe conservatives will do the job. Is this true? Have you thought about it? I personally don't think that's true. And honestly, I think Trump's trade war is going to die eventually, if it is already dead. And either party elected, I think they will be able to handle this problem and in a pretty much same way, because there's not a lot of options for the government. I mean, they're going to keep Canada as a country, and they're going to fight. I have no doubt about that. I think Canada's real threat right now is actually itself. Canada is in very high debt to GDP ratio, and you will already know the inflation anywhere. People cannot buy a home. A lot of people cannot afford foods, and very high crime rate. We are very close to broke. In my opinion, Canada is just like a rotten, it's like an apple rotten inside. And this has nothing to do with the United States. I think it is the irresponsible spending and the money abusing from previous government to cause all those problems. Canada, like right now, I think it's like a boat in trouble, and where all the Canadians are on that boat. We either choose to fix the boat, make it stronger, and let it go a little longer, or keep it run the way it is until it sinks and everybody dies. Who will fix that boat? You make your own judgment. But I think with Conservative Party's plan to cut the tax, reduce the spending, and have a smaller government and give the companies more freedom to run their own business, they will do the job. And with liberals' policy, basically just keep spending, and that's just gonna make our future even worse. So at the very last, I beg every voter to take your vote seriously. Your vote matters. This is for Canada's future. Use your brain to vote, not just your hand. Let's bring the home. Thank you.